everybody, welcome back to the Kingdon Radio Hour podcast. My name is Angel, better known as Tumblr user TV Gremlin, and I'll be your host. Today, for episode 2, we're going to talk a little bit about episode 14, which, as of time of recording, aired yesterday, and also Kingdon through song lyrics, thanks to the lovely Alysonafterdark on Tumblr, or just Alison. She very, very kindly and incredibly wrote up this document that she posted on Tumblr. Everyone go follow her on Tumblr, Alysonafterdark. Go follow her. Go read her fanfic, too. It's so good. Like, it's so good. Like it's, we don't deserve her good. Like, it's crazy. And she's been posting so much of it. You have such a good backlog. Like, it's not even fair. Anyway, I'm going to be linking the full document in the description, obviously. I'm just really excited to talk about it. We're going to be talking about my Kingdon song lyrics a little bit. So to start, I want to talk a little bit about episode 14. I had a terrible week leading up to watching this episode, and was very bummed to know that there would be no Kingdon, except for, obviously, the reveal. It's so important to me that we got the reveal that Mel loved Colonial Williamsburg and is, like, clearly, like, trying to get into historical reenactment. She's like, did anyone tweet the reenactors? I take notes every episode of The Pit for my non-Pit watching bestie, because I used to just text her, and it was awful, so now I write notes in my notes app, and then I just send her, like, here are all my episode thoughts, because she wants to know my episode thoughts, or more like, I want her to know my episode thoughts. She's listening, so shout out to her. But I don't want to bother her with, like, 18 text messages back to back. So I have the notes. To start, every time Frank Langdon comes on screen, I yell, raw. I also sometimes say, #need, #that. He looks so good this episode. Like, I know, okay, plot, character development, storylines. I feel like it's really important to discuss just how hot Frank Langdon is, and just how beautiful he looked this episode. The scene after he fixes the guy's spine, which is, what a fucking scene, man. It's so good. The fact that we get this incredible scene of him correcting this guy's spine, and he's standing there, and he's just, it's so good, because, to quote Abbott, brass balls, buddy, like, look, you haven't lost it. You see that Langdon got his groove back. It's incredible. And it's at the end of this shift, he's stressed, he's anxious, he's tired, and also, it feels really notable that this is after Mel tells him, yeah, you would have caught the collapse lung. You're ready to be back, and you would have saved him, because Mel gave him back his confidence, and now Langdon is ready to make all of those split-second decisions that are necessary. Langdon would not have cut open the girl's skin with the neck fast case from the septic bounce-back waitress. He would not have done that. But this Langdon, after Mel talks to him, 100% would have done that. The fact that he did it, the fact that Dr. Cruz, love you Dr. Cruz, was so excited, he's the best. He's the best here. I'm also kind of obsessed with the fact that he orders Cruz around a little bit, because Langdon technically has been doing medical training longer than Dr. Cruz, because he's now repeating his R4 year, so he technically should be in fellowship or attending, and he would have done the education fellowship, because Robbie wrote him that great letter of recommendation, and he would have done the emergency medicine fellowship and stayed at PTMC. But instead he got addicted to benzos, and he had to go to rehab about it. Anyway, and he leaves, and he's all sweaty. The thumbnail for this episode is Mel looking at the computer, and it's just the clip of Langdon being sweaty, which I did make, because, but why not? And it's because, like, girl, lock in, clock in, like, look over at your man. If you've read the fanfics I've read, I hope you know where your mind went. Not unlike when Abbott's like, I'm gonna start with the tip of my finger. And we were all just like, Sean Hannity, I know what the fuck you're doing. Okay, we know what the fuck you're doing. I don't know if I swore a lot last episode. I swear a lot. Welcome to Kingdon Radio Hour. Angel swears. It's part of it. A lot of these notes are just me being like, I deeply don't care about Duke. Should I care about Duke? Yes. I care about Robbie, and I care about Robbie's arc, but I don't care about this motorcycle mechanic I just met. I don't. This is my truth, and I'm sticking to it. I do think the scenes with him and Vivi are really funny, and, like, the scenes with him and Perla I really loved, because, I mean, I love Perla, I'm not a fucking monster. Perla's the best. But I did write that half my job as an impatient phlebotomist is getting lightly sexually harassed by men like Duke. Ellis is so correct this episode. I'm going chronologically, because that's how the order I have the notes. So, like, these are as the scenes appear, typically. Like, Duke, I don't care about him. But Ellis and Langdon, T. They are martyrs, and I think it's really interesting that Night Shift comes in as almost a complete foil to Day Shift. That's interesting writing. I also think it's the reason we'll never get a Night Shift version of the show, which I want. But also, if that happened, the Pit would never stop filming and the Pit would never stop airing. I need you guys to understand that. Okay. Giovanni making a TikTok, me core. Me actively posting on Tumblr as I walk around, pushing my little phlebotomy cart, doing draws. Real ones know. Real ones, I mean, everyone because I talk about it a lot. I love Giovanni being a TikToker so much. McKay talking to Robbie about Giovanni's TikTok. I am a member of McVodding Nation. I don't read fic for it or even like really post about it that much, but I need you all to know that McVodding Nation, you have my heart. I get you. I understand you. Age gap Yuri forever. Just in case anyone was wondering, my pitch ships are listed as this. Just gonna give you a quick little tier ranking. This is a Kingdon Radio Hour exclusive. Kingdon, number 1, obviously. Mo Abbott, R.I.P. Don't even talk to me about it. Mo Abbott, R.I.P. I'm more upset that Samir's leaving in general because she's my 3rd favorite character after Mo and Langdon. And I love Mohan so down. I love her so much. I love her character. Her growth in season 1 like made me cry. Her during the MCI is like one of some of my favorite moments in the whole show. I'm obsessed with Mohan. I'm so sad she's leaving. It's not fair. And I'm gonna say it, it's also racist. Hello. Watch me cut that out. No, I'm kidding. Why are we writing out women of color? What are we doing? I don't think Mohan's storyline is over. I think Mohan should stay. And having her just get bullied and then leave sucks. Is it realistic? Yes, but it sucks and I hate it. Yeah, it goes Kingdon, Mo Abbott, McVoddie, and then Huckle Robbie. Huckle Robbie and then like Rabbit. I will reblog and enjoy some Rabbit fan art, especially when they're an old married couple. T. Huckle Robbie I love. I less ship Huckle Robbie and I more have eyes, if that makes any sense. McVoddie I ship because I think that I relate deeply to Victoria and I feel like Cassie McKay could fix me. You know what I mean? I feel like Cassie McKay could fix all of us. And then obviously I'm autistic and relate to Mel and also like kind of relate to Langdon and just the like illing energy. I don't know. I love him so much. Kingdon is the best ship on the whole show and there's a reason it's the most popular. I believe in some spheres Huckle Robbie is more popular, but when it comes to shipping like heterosexual ships, Kingdon is the most popular. It's the best. Whenever they reference how old, I'm just gonna read the note verbatim. Whenever they reference how old Robbie and Abbott are, raw, that post that says raw and older, you know what I'm talking about. Donnie going home is crazy. Donnie going home is crazy. Donnie going home is crazy not because Donnie's going home. We love Donnie. Donnie's the fucking best. It's crazy because Frank also has children. McKay doesn't have primary custody of Harrison, so hypothetically, like, Harrison's with his dad. But Langdon, if he is still married, he has left his wife home with their 2 small children, who are 5 and 3, which if you've ever spent time with children around the ages of 5 and 3 on a major holiday, and at least for me growing up, where I go for the 4th of July, they do a parade where they throw candy at you. I would get candy thrown at me, and I'd collect it in a bucket, or more like a woven wicker basket, because I'm a hippie child, and then I would eat all of that candy. There would be someone on the block giving out free ices, cotton candy. If you go to like a fair event, Abby Langdon is dealing with children who have probably eaten so much junk food that they are ill, a golden doodle that is digging up their yard, and did I mention fireworks? Oh, and it's also like 100 degrees outside. Langdon, the bad husband you are. I fully believe he wouldn't do that to Mel, which is what's really funny. I think he's just a really bad husband. To Abby. In my headcanon, in my heart, Abby and Mel are besties, but Abby's kind of just like, listen, Frank, I loved you. I loved you many years ago, but you kind of sucked towards the end, and Frank was like, I sucked towards the end. And they agree on this. But they're really good co-parents. And Abby's like, I'm very happy to be free from you. But she really likes Mel. I think she's like, these people are soulmates. And they're friends. I hate Monica so much. Send post. I just hate her. Glad I was wrong about you to Dana is insane. What do you mean you dead to Dana? The best character on the show. What do you mean? Antoine fighting with his girlfriend in the ambulance bay is so important to me because there's always someone at the hospital having a loud fight with their partner. But the medics breaking the motorcycle feels almost poetic because motorcycles are so dangerous, and if you've ever spent any time at a hospital, you know this. I have a whole section that just says, Whitaker, why are you trying to be the doctor to the motorcycle? Baby, he's not your boyfriend, why are you acting like that? I'm just gonna leave it there. I also really love when he does the little help, because it's iconic. So we're gonna get you more pain meds and you just shut your fucking mouth. Dr. Abbott, let's get married. I don't know if you know this, but your wife is here. Please let me be your problematically young girlfriend. Please. Dr. Abbott, please. What's fucked up is that Dr. Abbott wouldn't date any of us who are super young, because he's a good adult man. He would date Mohan, though. Mohan, my sweet princess, I'm sorry it's not your fault. I'm so upset about Mohan's storyline. It is unfair, and I hate it. Back. Okay, so I alluded to this last episode, and I talk about this on Tumblr sometimes. I live with chronic pain. I have bad hips, but I have one. My left hip is significantly worse than my right hip. It's because of connective tissue issues. Boring. You don't care. We're here to talk about Kingdon. But I relate deeply to working with chronic pain that is dynamic, and chronic pain that flares, which it seems like Langdon has. At least with it being dynamic, because he was like, I tweaked my back carrying that kid. There is a really incredible Tumblr post that I cannot remember the username of or the person who made it, but if you know what I'm talking about, you know. Being like, that child doesn't weigh very much. That child also probably doesn't weigh more than his actual children. That child only a couple years older than his oldest child. This implies that Langdon can't really carry his kids anymore, which is devastating. And I don't know. It really gets me. He says that line, I guess I gotta get used to playing through the pain again. There's a moment when I was seeing of him dropping the kid onto the bed where you're realizing that Langdon's having the crisis of realizing that he is going to be in pain for the rest of his life and that he's going to work in pain through the rest of his life because the thing that took away the pain, he can no longer have. He can't have it anymore because he got addicted to them. So in order to stay sober, he has to live with the pain. There's something really dark and horrible about that. Well, I imagine there's a lot of grief there too of like Langdon is having pain that could disable him and could cause him to have to give up parts of his career and hold him back. It's really upsetting and hard. I see a lot of in him when it comes to the pain. I want that to be explored more on the show. I think that's actually a really good avenue for Langdon to relate to patients, i.e. Mel relating to the bulimic patient and spotting it because of her own issues with food and sensory aversions. I would love, 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 love a scene of Langdon relating to a character with chronic pain, or even Langdon relating to a character who suffers from drug addiction due to chronic pain, which is a really common way people become addicted to prescription medication. I'm also really happy we don't see him relapse this episode. I'm really happy that he's like, I tweaked my back. I'm gonna go take some Advil. Anyway, him being a Styx fan, the most divorced man in America. I didn't like the Langdon and Whittaker interaction. I don't think Whittaker did anything this season. Everyone's having the worst day of their life, and Whittaker's just like, my boss who's in love with me is suicidal, and also I saved a guy's life. And like, he's just a little therapy dog. McKay is the captain of our ship. I genuinely, like, I need to talk to the writers. Noah Wiley wrote this episode, by the way. So Noah Wiley, what the fuck? Maybe that's why they didn't interact, because Noah Wiley doesn't like Kingdon. Why are we setting up the only characters, correct me if I'm wrong, but the only characters this season who we're setting up having shared interests repeatedly? The pit kind of acts like you're done with some things. Because they know that they're appealing to the people who watch, like, the medical shows and cop shows, who are used to not paying as close of attention. And so for them to call attention to it twice, Langdon walks into the room, gets really excited about seeing the Fort Pitt reenactors, walks out. It's the whole scene. And then Mel mentions the Fort Pitt reenactors, gets really excited about it. Scene ends. Also in this scene is, this feels so notable, and I'd mentioned it on Tumblr, this is the canon announcement that Mel is an orphan. Probably not the announcement to the other characters, they've been working with her for 10 months that we haven't seen, but this is the canon announcement that Mel is a fucking orphan! Parents are departed, been there, done that. Like, the way she reveals this lore is also so incredible. It's so Mel will just be like, yeah, my parents are dead, while smiling, and then when you talk about Colonial Williamsburg, I love her forever. Okay, back to thirsting on the pod. I have a joke, a long-running joke. My kink is Langdon doing complex procedures. I've never been more down bad than when he places lines for ECMO. Like, I need him biblically in these scenes. I need him in a way that's concerned feminism. I need him in a way that only Dr. Melissa King can understand. That scene is so good. Him sweaty, him doing this complex procedure, the way he explains it to him. I believe Tumblr user Slowburn Lover, who I've chatted with a bit, who I love, and is like a real life doctor, made a great post talking about how this is an amazing example of Langdon being a competent and good doctor. Because even in this moment when things are rapidly getting worse, he's able to like laser focus on the patient and give him explanations of what is happening and tell him what is going on. It's great. Going, Langdon, honey, I just got a call from upstairs. And then Langdon running away like a little boy. Top 10 scenes of the show for me. I'm not kidding. Dana and Langdon's dynamic is really important to me. Dana is also the only character who he talks about Abby with, other than Santos. Guys. Her showing up for Langdon this season and just being like, you have support, you're gonna stay sober, it's gonna happen, you're not gonna wind up like Louis, and being like, Abby's a good woman, you deserve a second chance, and shouldn't you run it by the missus? I just love it so much, and it's a dynamic I love when it gets explored. Her calling Langdon honey and her just being so mother for him is everything to me. A lot of the rest of the show is just Robbie and Duke, which was great. Like, Noah Wiley, I'm carving your Emmy myself. Like, he's gonna win it, whatever. Don't care as much about it. Again, I don't really care about Duke. I think these scenes are way more impactful when it's Abbott or Dana. And I know it's gonna be Abbott next episode, but when it's Dana, it's so much better. I get Duke's existence. I understand why he's here. I don't like it as much, though. I also think that the level of drama of revealing Al Hashimi's absence seizures, which people are being ableist about. Sorry if you are saying that makes her unfit to work in the ER. I strongly disagree with you. Being disabled does not make it so you can't be a medical professional. She also has worked in an active war zone with this disability and is an attending at the VA. She can do this just fine. I'm not worried about her at all. In fact, I think that she's going to be a breath of fresh air. I am so curious about her and the Langdon dynamic, though. So many things left unanswered, so many things left unsaid. I'm not super happy with the way they're wrapping things up. At the end of season 1, I remember being like, they haven't finished it. They haven't done it correctly. And then they completely stuck the landing with the finale, and I was wrong. So I'm hoping I'm wrong again, but I don't think I am. I think the quality dropped a little. I think the lack of MCI actually kind of affected them. I also just think the fact that we know these characters now means that when things are done that feel a little off or a little wrong, it doesn't work as well. I also just think they completely bungled Samira and bungled Trinity. Maybe they'll fix them next episode. I don't know if they can. Apparently Trinity just spends the rest of the show charting, and I think they completely fucked her up. Like, I think that it was too subtle. I don't know. I actually really love that Trinity and Langdon seemed to just be ending on that fight. I think that that was really iconic. I think that that's actually very realistic and well done. But Trinity, I love Trinity Santos so much, and I just think that. But the reveal of her absent seizures. You're telling me Kingdon can't date with that reveal? That's some Grey's Anatomy bullshit. Do not come into my house and look me in the eyes and lie to me, Noah Wiley. Anyway, next item on the agenda that I reviewed episode 14. Before we move on, let me just give my star rating of episode 14. I would give it a 3 out of 5. I really liked it. I think that the Langdon character growth was really good. Who am I kidding? It's like a 2.5 out of 5. I really only like the Langdon scenes. Sorry, it's my truth. I love more Samira heavy episodes. Obviously, I love Kingdon heavy episodes. And then looking forward to the finale, there was some discussion of Langdon changing into his jeans. I don't have words for Langdon and his jeans. I just don't. He is so attractive, it breaks my brain. Sorry, but it's my truth. He's so hot with the sad eyes, and him telling Robbie, I saw a lot of guys like you back in rehab. My man, my moon, my man. I love him so much. And I think that the scene of them outside is them watching fireworks. And then I think that the Robbie scene is one of the final scenes of the season. I don't know how they're gonna end it. They're gonna end it in a way that's good, maybe good enough, maybe great, who knows. But I also would really love a throwback to the park of them all watching fireworks in the park, and I would love a Kingdon hand touch. I would die for a Kingdon hand touch. I do also know that according to spoilers and leaks, there's a possibility of a thank you from Langdon to Mel, which I think would break my brain because we get a lot of Langdon supporting Mel and Mel supporting Langdon, but we haven't really got any honestly direct acknowledgments of it because she thanks him for everything she did in season 1, but we haven't gotten the I don't know what I want to see, what the fans want to see. But I do believe the scene of them in the ambulance bay is hopefully from the thank you, and I do believe that scene is going to happen. I believe we're going to see it next week. There's some interview from forever ago. I think it's a Taylor interview. I talked about this last week. I don't know if remember made a final cut, but I talked about it last week. They watched the fireworks together. We're getting a scene of them watching the fireworks together. Sorry, it's happening. And if it doesn't happen, no, Wiley, you can catch his hands. Sorry. Okay, let's move on to item 2 on our rather short agenda, which is Alysonafterdark, one of my favorite mutuals. I talked about her last week. I love her so much. She is the one who alerted me of the leaks, and therefore I'm forever indebted to her, because I would have never seen them that fast otherwise. Tumblr user Alysonafterdark, AO3 user Alysonafterdark. Her fics are incredible. You probably know her for song fics. They are so, so good. I had the honor of getting to beta read one a little bit. It was, dude, they're so good. It's not, again, it's unfair. Go read them right now. Stop what you're doing, go read them, come back to the pod. Thank you. I invited her to appear, and she decided to appear through this wonderful dog, which again will be listed in the description, and you can also find it on her Tumblr, and I believe it was posted in Kingdon Nation. I'm gonna probably do a mix between reading it word for word aloud and some commentary and just going through it, but again, if you really want to spend some time with this doc, which I highly recommend you do, I will link it in the description. Kingdon through song lyrics, she's edited these incredible little, I don't know how, because I'm terrible at editing things. See my thumbnails of them with song lyrics behind them, and the iconic season 2 break room scene, and then it's color coded, which is iconic of her. So I'll start. In this doc, I will explore the emotional landscapes of Melissa King and Frank Langdon from HBO's The Pit, both as individuals and as something more when they exist side by side. Poetry! This project uses song lyrics as a lens to examine who they are, what they mean to each other, and how love, longing, unspoken understanding can transform when two people finally meet in the same emotional space. Couldn't have said it better myself, Allison. Couldn't have said it better myself. The first intro is just a little bit about some Styx songs. Langdon, the most divorced man in America. Okay, so in the episode, as listed in the doc, she has that great little shot of him. He's so fine. Thank God the slut strands came back. Thank God. They mentioned these songs specifically. Mr. Roboto, Come Sail Away, Lady, Babe. Let's get right into it, I guess. So Mr. Roboto's Styx is from 1983. First of all, let's talk about the backing. I'm just going to read it word for word a little bit. First of all, let's talk about the backing book. It's Secret, Secret, I've Got a Secret. Every day we get closer to Frank Langdon, which is the lyric. And every day we get closer to Frank Langdon canonically being the most divorced man in America. Because yeah, he is. He's more divorced than my own father. I'm not a robot without emotions. I'm not what you see. Alright, and then Allison's commentary. When we saw Frank last season, he was actively addicted to benzodiazepines. He was detached on edge and frankly out of touch with the emotions of people around him. Exactly. And lyric again, I've come to help you with your problems so we can be free. This season, he is coming back from being alone for 10 months. He's gone through this he's gone through treatment, counseling, and countless NA meetings. He's put in the work and he's back with a fresh mindset, and we can see that in the way he's acting, the shift, and the way he's trying to help the people around him. I'm not a hero, I'm not a savior, forget what you know, I'm just a man whose circumstances went beyond his control. He's not the prodigal son or golden boy anymore. Other people might think he is, but he doesn't feel this way. Right now he's feeling like a guy who's messed up and let himself lose control of his life. Exactly. I think that the whole prodigal son return and discussion of the golden boy and how you're still the golden boy, that is one of my favorite Trinity lines this season, actually, because I love how Trinity is right about things and Trinity is so wrong about things, and her projecting onto Langdon perceived and accurate lack of understanding from fellow people at the pit. Although Robbie really likes Trinity Santos. Robbie trusts her opinion. Robbie thinks she's a good doctor. Robbie agrees with her on things, even when she's arguably a little wrong. Like, Robbie didn't have any criticism for her about her treatment of Harlow, which is the one thing this season I think Trinity actually deserves quite a bit of criticism for. I also believe her relationship with Mel is far more antagonistic than she realizes, and that Mel, due to being autistic, feels bullied by Trinity, and Trinity is not doing it on purpose. As an autistic woman, I have dealt with a lot of bullying, haven't we all? And Trinity and Mel's relationship is incredibly accurate to that experience, and I love the way it's shown, but Trinity does not treat Mel well. But I think she likes Mel. I think Trinity is just such a hard shell that you cannot crack. That's why her relationship with Whittaker is so good. Mel exists to soften Langdon, Whittaker exists to soften Trinity, and then Trinity and Langdon are foils. That is the narrative setup, and Langdon and Mel soften each other in a much more successful way than Trinity and Whittaker, just due to the nature of the characters. But towards the back half of the season, they did a much better job with the Whit Santos siblingism of it all. I love them so much. But, okay, back to the talk. I'm not a hero, I'm not a savior, forget what you know, I'm just a man whose circumstances went beyond his control. Other people might think he is, but he doesn't feel that way. Right now he's feeling like a guy who messed up and let himself lose control of his life. Because he kind of did. But also, just a man whose circumstances went beyond his control is such an interesting line when it comes to Langdon, because he injured his back helping his parents move, something he didn't mean to do, something that kind of just happened to him. And his addiction, he kind of stumbled into it. As far as we are aware, he kind of fell into it. The line he says to Mel when he reveals the addiction is so good. I thought I could treat myself, and I let a lot of people down. It's just so good. I am a modern man who hides behind a mask, so no one else can see my true identity. Last season, he was trying his best to hide his addiction and his struggles, to hide behind a mask of coolness and assholeness, to hide the fact inside he was fighting a war with himself. Exactly. I also think that Frank Langdon is, the way Patrick plays him, the way Patrick has spoken about him, is so fascinating. I've talked about this before on Tumblr, and I cannot find the original source for the life of me, so God, I wish I could. He's talked about Frank being Appalachian, he's talked about how he fought for the dad bracelet, because he wants to show that Frank isn't an Alex Krebs asshole or a McDreamy. Frank is a goofy dad. Frank is closer to Phil Dunphy than McDreamy. That is, I think, the vibe he's going for, and that shows so well in his performance, especially in season 2, because you really get that, really comes across that way. He loves his children. He doesn't love his wife, but he loves his children. Abby Langdon, leave. Free her. Yeah, but we see he's hiding his true self, which in my opinion is this his soft spot. And I think his soft spot is his family and his children, and the fact that I think deep down he just wants to be good, and he just wants to save people, and I think losses fuck him up, and losing children mess him up, and I think he just wants to be a good doctor who helps people, and this addiction fucked with him, and I think he just wants to be good. And he did something so bad, and he doesn't know how to get back from it, and doesn't see the goodness in himself. I also see Frank as lapsed Catholic. This is my truth. I think he feels like he needs to be perfect for everybody, and he can't be. And the one person who he doesn't have to be perfect for, and who accepts all his flaws, and who loves him totally and completely, is Mel. The time has come at last to throw away the mask. Now everyone can see my true identity. Now he's back as the mask is gone. He doesn't have benzos. He hasn't been practicing medicine for 10 months. He's nervous, and he's shaken, and he feels like everyone is counting on him to fail. And he knows everyone can see it because he isn't doing anything to hide anymore. Exactly. And it's actually one of the reasons I just like the Whittaker conversation so much, because I think that him being like, stop with the sarcasm, bothers me, because Langdon hasn't been back long enough that he can drop that. Also, Langdon dropping his sarcasm, and Langdon dropping the jokes, and Langdon just standing there and trying his best and being good when he wants to be, to quote the incredible script for the original break room scene. He only does that with Mel. Something about Mel King cuts through all the layers of sarcasm. We've talked about this on Tumblr a million times. He was in drug withdrawal in season 1, because that's not how benzos make you act. He was actually trying to taper himself off, and that's even sadder. But you see him, he's only ever vulnerable and emotional and true to himself with Mel King. And there's just something about that, and Red String of Fate, soulmatism, whatever you want to call it, it is, frankly, incredible. Now, next song. Listen, Your Mind. Having such a good time. Okay, Come Sail Away, Styx 1977. Wow, that's older than I thought. The song is about moving on after experiencing trials and tribulations, about moving on from the life you had before and sailing away to bigger and better things. Yeah, great. So I've got to be free the fates of life that's ahead of me. Most divorced man in America, what can I say? Shrug. Alison, Your Mind, exactly. On board, I'm the captain, so climb aboard. Also, we'll search for tomorrow on every shore, and I'll try, oh Lord, I'll try to carry on. Frank is the captain of the ship that is his future. He's carrying on with his life. Even if other things in his life come to a halt, he has to keep sailing on. Exactly. Mr. Bolt has talked a little bit about this, and just even from my own experience of and I'm sure anyone who's had a really bad, hard thing happen, and you just kind of have to keep going. There's a certain thing you do where you just have to keep moving, and the only way out is through. And I think Frank Langdon is really in a the only way out is through moment. Because first year's the hardest. He has to get through this part. He has to get out of early recovery, which is the hardest part. He has to do it, though. The only way to get out of early recovery is to keep recovering. I look to the sea, reflections on the waves spark my memory. Some happy, some sad. I think of childhood friends and dreams we had. Of course, his life before his addiction, his recovery will stay with him. Some memories are happy, some inevitably are sad. Exactly. I think that Frank is definitely mourning his relationship with Robbie, which is really painful. Robbie really seemed like a father figure to him, and we know he has a good relationship with his parents, at least from the two times he's mentioned them, but I'm sure there's definitely a lot of grief of losing this man who was his mentor. In fact, this week when Frank says I've seen his place, Frank started his residency in 2020. This is a fact that cannot be overlooked in my opinion, or his intern year in 2020. Frank Langdon worked through the pandemic with very small children. If Tanner is 5, Tanner was born in 2020. There is a possibility Abby Langdon gave birth alone. A fact I will never get over. There's a great fanfic from Abby's perspective where she discusses she had her first child alone because Frank couldn't leave, and being so upset that he would leave and do anything for Mel, and that grief. Abby Langdon is such an interesting character. I want to do a whole episode on Abby. I have so many thoughts about Abby. I cannot wait for the day we meet her on the show, which we will. Mark my words, we will meet her. I love Abby so much. I just want to know what she looks like. What does she look like, Frank? Yeah, but him saying he's been to Robbie's apartment, I personally agree with the headcanon, which predates my time writing fanfiction or being really, I'm going to say prolific, and I have a podcast, prolific in the Kingdom fandom, or making a lot of content for it, or being here. Back when I was just kind of a lurker, which I was for most of season 1, was him living with Robbie during the pandemic because he was too afraid to bring home COVID to his infant son. And I think about that grief a lot. Frank has seen a lot of people die. Frank has been through a lot. We lived happily forever, so happy. So the story goes. Abby stayed. That's his story, and he's sticking to it for now. Alison, Your Mind. But somehow we missed out on the pot of gold. We'll try the best we can to carry on. Once again, most diverse man in America. This is literally spelled out for you. It is. It is. It just is. The way Frank says Abby stayed is so devastating, and the way he discusses her this season is so strange. We know Patrick Ball is capable of giving really incredible small acting moments, and the way he chose to play Abby stayed is completely insane. I don't care if Frank stays married the entire show. The way his marriage was handled this season makes him seem like he's getting divorced, and it's crazy. A gathering of angels appeared above my head. They sang to me the song of hope, and this is what they said. They said, come sail away, come sail away, come sail with me. Well, of course you are. We don't always get everything we write the first time. I don't want you to leave either. Mel and Frank in the break room inspiring about whether he's ready to be back, whether he's ready to move on to sail away after everything's happened. Exactly. So this next section is all highlighted in green, which is Kingdon together in this document. Again, spend time with this document. I am reading it word for word, but spend time with it, sit with it, think about it. Fans, especially fans like Alison, who just her mind, come together to create stuff like this. And if you learn anything from Kingdom Radio Hour, if there is one slogan, one message I want to push across, it is that this community is so beautiful and real and special. And maybe I'll eat my words, but I don't see a lot of drama. We kind of just love each other. It's kind of just a lot of support. And if you don't like things, you move on. I've seen some headcanons I don't like. I've seen Red Fix I didn't like, and you know what I did? I moved on. I didn't care because I was just so happy other people care about these characters like I do and are making content for them. And the fan content I love, I'm so eager to share and talk about. And fan content that's amateur or bad or babies first. If someone's 14 in this fandom, oh my god, I'm so happy you're here. I'm so happy that this is the space you're in. I'm so happy you're sharing your fresh art with us. Every single thing that's made for Kingdon is beautiful and special and has value and I love and deserves to be here. When I was putting together the master doc, it was such a labor of love, so I know how much work something like this takes, and it's so special. Alison shared it with us. Please go spend time with it. Okay, Lady Six, 1973. This one is so on the nose, and it's just absolutely insane. Lady, when you're with me, I'm smiling. Give me, whoa, 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 your love. Your hands build me up. I'm sinking. Touch me, and my troubles all fade. Mel has been there from the season more than anyone else, more than people that Frank has known personally for years. Frank has known Samira Mohan and Dana and Robbie and McKay for years, and no one checked in on him. Also, he's the only one left from his residency class. Like, Collins left, but Collins didn't check in on him. No one checked in on him. I think if Mel had had his number, she would have checked in on him. That's what gets me. Mel's the one to look him in the eye and go, I'm really happy you're back. And you actually believe her. It doesn't just feel like a pleasantry. Lady, from the moment I saw you standing all alone, you gave me all the love I needed. And then the note is just the insert of him staring at her in episode 1. I could write a novel about that scene. What? And he's like kind of bouncing. So good. So shy like a childhood grown. Need I say more? Alison, no you don't. I have no other words. Literally. You're my lady of the morning. Love shines in your eyes. Sparkling, clear, and lovely. You're my lady. The fact that they're the day morning shift together. She's the lady of the morning. She is. She is. I have so many words about why Mel, after the break room scene, when she got her onesie back, because they made out. Sorry. Mel brought back to herself and filled with joy. And Mel, when she's herself, she's unsure. But she also can just kind of stand there and know what she's doing and be sure of herself and be confident, which as an autistic woman I really relate to. When you're in your element, you don't mess up. You know what the fuck you're doing. And that's Mel King for you. Same thing with Langdon. Like, that way he looks at her when she's doing that crike just gets me. He sees her and he just sees something special. And I think that makes him love her. I think that for him it was kind of love at first sight. I think for Mel too. I think that Mel is the one aware of her crush. Obviously, I mean, I can see why you like him. Which is crazy. Sorry, that line is crazy. Like, how else are we supposed to read it? Whatever. And I think that Langdon isn't there yet, but I think that Langdon just looks at this person and is like, I have to be there for her. I have to protect her. He can be good when he wants to be. Babe Sticks, 1979. The song has tipped it over the edge from just picked good stick songs to, oh, maybe this was intentional. Thank you. The pit's really interesting because there's a lot of things, like, when you rewatch season 1, there's a lot of shots of, like, Frank, like, guessing junkies, like the way that things are shot, where you can see his addiction really telegraphed, which they do basically the exact same thing with his marriage. And it gets me because if we don't get a divorce reveal next episode or even in season 3, it makes a lot less sense. I talked about this a lot in the Master Doc. There is a really thin line between production error and random chance and a storytelling choice. And sometimes you cannot tell. And a lot of times you actually can't tell, which is what's really frustrating about television and what can be really frustrating as a fan. And why I love stuff like this document that Alison made us, because you actually get to go on this journey. And I'm always of the opinion that until they tell me it was intentional, it wasn't, because I've been burned too many times. See Sid Carmi fandom. When you read into everything and when you believe everything is intentional, when you believe this incredible tapestry is being woven and this art is happening, you can start to just feel like, oh my god, what? Because like things like them both being history nerds is so intentional, and what does it mean if not best friends for life? I am so excited for season 3 established relationship Kingdon come to me. Okay, back to Babe by Styx. But I'll be lonely without you, and I'll need your love to see me through, so please believe me, my heart is in your hand and I'll be missing you. I think it's pretty clear that Mel missed Frank while he was gone. She knew him for one terrible shift from hell, yet she talks about him with her sister, her best friend. She says nice things about him, implying that she still it was still actively happening after 10 months. It hasn't been explicitly stated that Frank thought about Mel while he was gone, but the fact that he remembered their inside thing and remembered Mel turning off the lights off for Terrence in season 1, I'd say heavily implies that he was on her mind in some capacity. See all the fics of him thinking about her in rehab. Send post. There's something about the fact that they knew each other for hours one day, and they never forgot it. Sometimes it's that serious, though. Sometimes it's just that serious. Like, they met, and it was that serious. Because you know it's you, babe. Whenever I get weary and I've had enough, feel like giving up, you know it's you, babe, giving me courage and the strength I need. Please believe that it's true, babe. I love you. A theme surrounding Mel and Frank is their willingness to take care of each other and the eagerness behind it. They both know that this person will be there for them if they need encouragement. Frank gives Mel courage and strength when he tells her that she's good at helping people, and she's making a good first impression. And again, when he tells her that the ED is a tough place for sensitive people, they need them badly, and he needs her. Mel knows that she can open up about the deposition, and he's actually going to listen and care for what she has to say. Yes, the only person Mel opens up to about the deposition is Langdon. Nobody else has done that for her. People she's worked with beside for 10 months continue to brush her off, just like the very first day, even after all this time, and still after all this time, Frank never does. Mel gives Frank courage and strength that he tells her he doesn't know if she's really ready to be back, and she tells him that of course he is, and no matter what, he would have saved the asthma patient. The patient thanks Frank, and his first instinct is to look to Mel, and one episode later, he performs a badass cowboy procedure after spending so much of the season doubting his abilities as a doctor. Mel gave him the strength and courage to step up, and do what she knows he's capable of. In the fic Breaking the Surface, which is incredible, I've read many times, and I'm sure all of you have too. One of the major themes, and one of the major themes of, I believe, Kingdon's relationship is the fact that Frank doesn't believe in his own inherent goodness and Mel does. And in tandem with that, the fact that Mel doesn't believe she's deserving of the love Frank has to give her and has spent so much of her life sacrificing and giving things up, that when someone comes into her life with the pure intentions of taking care of her, of wanting to get on his knees and march through the desert and walk 1,000 miles just to make her smile, neither of them knows how to handle that. And I think that that is the work of their relationship. It's Frank realizing that he's good, that he knows what he's doing. He's a good fucking doctor. And Mel realizing that she's good and she knows what she's doing and she's a good fucking doctor. And she deserves to have people tell her that. And at the end of the day, Mel deserves a break and rest. And Frank wants to give that to her. Frank wants to take care of her so she can continue to be the incredible person she is. And Mel wants to take care of him so he can continue being the incredible person he is. Babe, I'm leaving. I'll say it once again. And somehow try a smile. I know the feeling we're trying to forget, if only for a while. When I hear this line specifically, it makes me think of Frank telling Mel about the save he just had, and finally getting to say goodbye to Mel. She thinks about the first day she met him, and the eagerness to tell him about the baby she delivered, and when she found out she left, she was disappointed he didn't say goodbye. Now they get it, and it's happy with smiles on their faces, despite the memory of feeling and the feeling we were trying to forget. From here, their relationship, whatever it may become, moves forward. And that's the end of the document. Wow. What a journey. Again, link in the description. Please go spend time with this. I pretty much read it word for word, but I still recommend spending time with it. I also believe she's going to update it some more, which please, when it does, spend more time with it. Again, Alysonafterdark on Tumblr, Alysonafterdark on AO3. I wanted to talk a bit about my Kingdon songs. The songs I picked are songs that like really matter to me as a Kingdon fan and are what I think of. The songs that, in my opinion, are a big deal. Ruin the Friendship by Taylor Swift, obviously. I'm Pushing It Down and Praying, obviously. I Want to Feel Guilty, I Want to Feel That It's Wrong. Like, the infidelity of it all. I'm planning on doing an infidelity episode. That sounds crazy, but you know what I mean. I'm planning on doing an episode about infidelity narratively with Kingdon, probably after the finale airs, because I'm going to do an episode just all about the finale and reflecting on the season. On my playlist, I have a lot of Taylor Swift songs, but I would say Delicate, Call It What You Want. Daddy, I Love Him is a big one. The Torture to Poets Department is a big Kingdon album for me, in my opinion. But Daddy, I Love Him, just that vibe of like, Langdon isn't a favorite in the ER anymore, especially amongst Mel's actual peers, like the Pitlings, and I think that there's definitely a vibe where Mel, it seems too good for him. And there's also a lot of this in non-Kingdon fandom. You know, Mel is kind of infantilized, and she's pure, she's autistic, and she's, inexperienced and all that, and I think that I strongly disagree with that take. But Daddy, I Love Him is a song where she's just like, you know what? Fuck all y'all, I love my man. I think that that's very much Mel's energy. Illicit affairs, obviously illicit affairs. Guilty as sin, duh. How can I be guilty as sin if we've never touched? I think that there, especially in wider fandom, not in Kingdon fandom, in fact, this is like the only place where this is properly explored, but in wider fandom, there's a lot of push to have Mel be viewed as a non-sexual being, which there's definitely space for, and like, if you are asexual, what I'm trying to say is if you're asexual and you see yourself in Mel King, that is so valid, and I super support that. Same feeling I have for people who view Mel as a lesbian. Support that, love that. I just, like, that's not my reading of her, but great, enjoy it, make your art, make your fan content, that's awesome. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about are the Reddit fans and the Kingdon antis. Not people who are like, because of X, Y, and Z, I think Mel's asexual, and give, like, actual reasoning behind it, and have, like, reasons in the text, which are great, and I support. But the people who watch Mel get flirted with, and she gets excited about it. That scene with her in Santos where she's like, I got flirted with, and she's smiling, and she's happy about it. Those people who watch that scene and then are still like, I just don't think she's any interest in dating, I think she's too focused on her career, are crazy, and I hate them. I think that in Kingdon fandom, we see a lot of exploration of Mel's sexuality, and there are so many good fics where Mel is sexually interested in Langdon and is masturbating thinking about Langdon and is into Langdon and is pushing for the cheating and wants to cheat with Langdon, and she's dealing with all these issues, and that to me is very Guilty as Sin, which there's a lot of really great edits of them to Guilty as Sin. High Infidelity, Put on Your Records and Regret Leaving Me. I bent the truth too far this time. I was dancing around. Come on. Ivy. Again, Your Pain Fits in the Palm of My Broken Hand. So good. Glitch is great. We were supposed to just be friends. I have Fresh Out the Slammer, obviously. Special disclaimer, I know who my first call will be to, which is, Langdon and Mel. Again, a million incredible edits. I swear every week I'm saving a new Fresh Out Disclaimer edit. There was a great one even from the first episode from, I believe the username is Swift Vibes. You can find her on Instagram and on TikTok. Peace is on is on Patrick Ball's Frank Langdon playlist. And that's so important to me because, yeah, peace. What if I can never give you peace? I also think Peace is a great song that can be in conversation with Frank, Abby, and Mel because, again, the disillusionment of his marriage is painful and hard. I have Lavender Haze on here because they're bringing up my history, but you weren't even listening. So Kingdon, in my opinion. Treacherous. This love is treacherous. Daylight. I thought my love would be burning red, but it's daylight. I really see that from Mel's perspective of her realizing that she is worthy of love and she deserves love and she can have it. And she can have it with this man who, like, they are not a traditional couple. They are not who you would think of like an autistic woman and her boyfriend. You would not think of Mel and Frank. And that's what I love so much about them too. Cornelia Street, except replace Cornelia Street with PTMC and Pittsburgh. False god, we might just get away with it. Religions in your lips, even if it's a false god. Melody, energy. Yes, our secret moments in a crowded room. They got no idea about me and you. There's an indentation in the shape of you. Major mark on me. A golden tattoo. By the way, don't these lyrics pulled up? I'm just that much of a Swiftie. Is anyone surprised? Anyway, just that pining and desperately waiting. Like, my hands are shaking from holding back from you. That build up of them getting together. I think that what we're seeing right now in canon and what I hope we're seeing in season 3 are going to be very different because season 2, even then, there is energy, there are vibes, it is buzzier than a motherfucking bee. But in season 3, oh my god, guys, the energy, I'm so excited. Gold Rush, everybody wants you, everybody wonders what it would be like to love you. I think that Mel has a lot of insecurity about how handsome Frank is, and that she might deal with, again, like the patient's flirting with Frank. It's so funny because Mel is really receptive to being flirted with, and she loves it. And then Frank gets flirted with, and he's like, like doesn't like it, and then I can see why you like him, which if I heard that, I would be like, wonder what that's about. There's definitely a platonic reason for it, but still, come on. And the way he smiles at her, I don't know, I just think that she doesn't realize he only has eyes for him. Okay, let's get to the actual meat of my Kingdon song lyrics. Because in case you're wondering, that's just me talking about the Taylor Swift songs that are on the playlist. I'm gonna link the playlist. I love you guys. Okay, Lost Time is my number 1 Kingdon song. It is the first song on my Kingdon playlist. It is the reason I have a Kingdon playlist. It was referenced in a fanfic that I did not bookmark and I cannot find right now, and it pisses me off forever. It was a really sad fanfic. It was really angsty. Then the pre-season 2 fandom, I think there was a lot of energy of how is this addiction gonna look like? What's he gonna look like recovered? Him dealing with relapse, all that. And this song and this fic I read really play with the energy of like, Mel is going to fall in love with a recovering addict and there is risk associated with that. If that makes any sense. Which this song kind of engages with. Also, if you've read my Evie series, I reference this song fucking lots. So the lyrics I want to start with are like from the middle of the song, which is the lyrics I want to start with were, "But I love you, and every day that I knew and didn't say is lost time. Now I'm knocking down your door because I'm trying to make up for lost time. Wish you were here. Wish I was there. I wish you could have a place that we could share. Not only stolen moments and abandoned halls, quiet touch in elevators and bathroom stalls, but I will, I would, I did, I do, for the thrill, for my health, for myself, for you." Those lost time is to me so Frank Langdon, fresh out of rehab, looking at Mel King and being like, I love you. And every day I didn't tell you and every day I didn't know you is time I've lost. I think that if you were to ask Frank Langdon, he would say, I'm glad I met Mel when I did. So I think that Mel saved him, and I think that Frank saved Mel. And I think that he needed to be married to Abby, and he needed to do all this to get to that place. But also, I'm sure that there's grief that they didn't meet when they were 4, and they haven't been best friends this whole time, and they haven't loved each other this whole time. And again, only stolen moments in abandoned halls, quiet touches in elevators and bathroom stalls. I read the song as that infidelity and them so in love and unable to share that love with the world because of these factors that they have control over. But again, like, I don't think Frank is eager to leave his wife because he's not going to get custody of his children. He is a recovering addict. It doesn't bode well for him. He's a recovering addict with a job that doesn't fit well with parenting. He's not going to get the custody he wants with his kids. I imagine that they're stealing moments. It's these stolen moments. They're just so in love. And then it repeats the "'cause I love you every day." And nothing lasts forever, but let's see how far we get. So when it comes my time to lose you, I'll have made the most of it. Which really brings me back to season 1, and I imagine the grief of Mel not knowing if she's ever going to see him again, and how much she loved that man, and thought about that man, and how much he took up space in her head because he made her feel seen and cared for. Something that, at least from what we know about Mel, she probably hasn't had in decades. It doesn't exist on the internet yet, but I have definitely done some writing about Mel knowing that she will probably, especially if they cheat, knowing she'll lose him again when he either goes back to his wife or something happens, or even if he might leave after residency. And I think that Mel understands that she might not get to keep him, and that's hard. Because once you have it, you don't want to let go, right? This is the final line that really gets me. Our formal attire on the floor in a pile. In the morning, I will fold it while you get ready for work. I hear you sing it in the shower. It's that song I showed you years ago. It's nice to know you listen to it after all this time. I'll put your clothes on the dresser with your 60-day chip, and your broken gold chain, your unpaid parking ticket. I notice everything about you. I can't help it. It's not a choice. It's been this way since we've met. Because I love you, and every day that I knew and didn't say is a crying shame. It's a crime, a waste of space, lost time. Do I even need to go on? Next song on the list, on my Kingdon list, is Shapeshifter. Shapeshifter is a song by Lorde, who I love, and I don't have a lot of Lorde songs on my Kingdon playlist, but I definitely think Current Affairs and Clear Blue have a space in talking about Kingdon, even if they're not on my personal playlist. Kingdon, at least currently as a ship dynamic, is very much falling in love and that soulmates, and a lot of Lorde music is about the breaking up of relationships, so it doesn't fit as well. But some of the songs really fit with the infidelity energy, which, as you can tell, I'm very serious about. Shapeshifter, I'm gonna read you the lyrics I took from it. So Shapeshifter is about her experience with sex and with sexual partners and kind of her keeping an arm's length from people romantically. But when you get close enough, I'll let down my braids and you'll climb up. In my room, we can do anything you want. Everyone I've slept with, all the pairs of hands, I'm reckless. I'm fine without it, why can't I stop? Everything I want speeding up my pulse. I don't sleep, don't dream at all. Give him nothing personal, so I'm not affected. And I kind of think about Mel. Mel isn't that guarded, but you definitely see her understanding that, like, she doesn't have friends and she doesn't have that relationship. Frank's the only person who can, like, really see through that. And I think that that might scare her a little bit. I'm fine without it, why can't I stop? Makes me think of them a lot, of especially cheating and her knowing that she doesn't need romantic relationships to be fine in life, but she doesn't want to give it up. She loves Frank. She doesn't want to give him away anymore. She can live without him. She'll be just fine, but she loves that man down. The ending is, I'll kick you out and pull you in and say that you were just a friend. And when it's all over again, say I'm not affected. Just exactly. I don't think you could read that from Langdon's perspective of, I can lose her. I've lost a lot. I can lose Mel. And they can't. They can't lose each other. The next song, I do a song fic by about, it has like 300 hits, and I doubt that'll increase anytime soon, because it's a very weird niche. It's weird. It exists in its own bubble. It was my first Kingdon fic. It's Old College Try by the Mountain Goats. I love the Mountain Goats. Me and YA author and nonfiction author and adult fiction author, soon to be adult fiction author, John Green, and I are both the two biggest fans of the Mountain Goats. I love the Mountain Goats. The Mountain Goats are so important to me. I've seen them live. They're incredible. I love them with my whole heart. And they have a lot of Kingdon songs. Pink and Blue, my fanfic, is named for this Mountain Goat song Pink and Blue, which is about having a baby. It's a great song. Old College Try is off the album Tallahassee. Tallahassee is an album about the beginning and end of a marriage. And it's about love and divorce and the complexities of it, and it's really good. But Old College Try, I really read as kind of a song of, like, we're gonna cheat, but we know we're not supposed to. So I'm gonna read the lyrics I selected to talk about. From the entrance to the exit is longer from where it looks, is longer than it looks from where we stand. I want to say I'm sorry for stuff I haven't done yet. Things will shortly get completely out of hand. I can feel it in the rotten air tonight, in the tips of my fingers, in the skin on my face, in the weak last gasps of the evening's dying light, in the ways those eyes I've always loved illuminate this place like a trash can fire in a prison cell, like the searchlights in the parking lots of hell. I will walk all the way down with you, if you will come all the way down with me. For whatever reason, this song really captures to me the feeling that I imagine, particularly Langdon would have, of just like, what I'm doing is terrible. I'm doing this horrible thing. I'm doing a horrible thing to Mel. I'm doing a horrible thing to my wife. And I cannot stop because I love her too much. I cannot give it up. And she's coming with me. I will go all the way down to the end if you will come all the way down with me. Next song is a song by Boy Genius, True Blue. If you've heard True Blue, you know there's some good True Blue edits of them, and it feels so good to be known so well. I can't hide from you like I hide from myself. Exactly. Mel sees right through Langdon, Langdon sees right through Mel. That's it. Like, Alison talked about it, I've talked about it, people have talked about it forever, and we'll keep talking about it as long as people are talking about this ship. They see right through each other. I remember who I am when I'm with you. Your love is tough. Your love is tired, tried, and true blue. You've never done me wrong, except that for that one time that we don't talk about, because it doesn't matter anymore. Who won the fight? I don't know. We're not keeping score. Just exactly. I've said a lot of things this episode, and I think that I don't have anything else really to add to that other than you see it, you get it, you know exactly what I'm talking about when it comes to Kingdon. You've never done me wrong except for that one time that we don't talk about it anymore, because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that he didn't say goodbye that first day. It doesn't matter they disappeared for 10 months, because the relationship they built after is too strong. It doesn't matter. Moon Song is a song about being in love with a married man, and how devastating it is, and there are a lot of really good Kingdon heads to it, and I could cry thinking about them, so I'm not gonna. But with Moonsong, I'm just gonna say that the big ones are, and if I could give you the moon, I would give you the moon. You are sick, and you're married, and you might be dying, but you're holding me like water in your hands. Because exactly. He's sick, he's in early recovery, and when they first meet in active addiction, and he's married to Abby, and you might be dying, like you might be leaving the pit, you might be getting kicked out, you might be getting fired, your life is falling apart, but you're holding me like water in your hands. He is cupping her like she's the most precious thing in the world to him. I need you, Mel. It's beautiful. And the final song on the list is the Taylor Swift song that I'm going to go into detail with, which is Evermore. I started my job in December, and it was just like, I talk a lot about my life in this pod. Wow. I was really lonely. It's a really lonely time in my life. And a lot of hard things were happening. And I listened to Evermore song so many times. And it is just, in my opinion, an ultimate Kingdon song. These are the lyrics I decided to talk about, which is, I can't not think of all the cost and all the things that we lost. But can we just get a pause to be certain we'll be tall again? Whether weather be the frost or the violence of the dog days, I'm on waves out being tossed. Is there a line that I could just go cross? And when I was shipwrecked, I thought of you. In the cracks of light, I dreamed of you. It was real enough to get me through. Which to me reads as that 10-month period when they were separated. Frank and Mel, separated. They weren't together. They didn't have each other. And him being there for her and her being there for him. And the fact that it's very, very clear now at the end of season 2 that their memories got them through those 10 months. I think that Mel's more of a support to him than Abby. Okay, that's kind of it. To end this, I just want to thank you all so much for your support on the last episode. I was so scared. If you follow TV Gremlin, sometimes I'll just post things with no tags or like little rants about stuff, but for the most part, I'm very fandom-oriented and fandom history-oriented and, memeing and laughing. To start this platform and talk about it again, I've talked about things, hard things, and talking about my life a little bit, and even just sharing my voice is hard. I had like 2 or 3 comments, people saying I really like your voice and listening to your voice is nice, which I cried. I got those comments while I was at work, and I cried because I'm autistic. I've talked about this, and my voice modulation changes a lot depending on the situation I'm in, and I've been bullied for it before. So the fact that my voice here, arguably it's most authentic, because I'm talking about the thing I love the most, well, like other than my family and stuff, to be something you want to listen to made me cry. So thank you so much for anyone who said something like that, or anyone who left a kind comment, or anyone who just shared that they appreciate listening to it and are going to keep listening. You guys are incredible, and I don't deserve you, and I was so scared to put this out there, and the fact that, there are people who are invested and want to keep listening. Wow, I thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for showing up, and for being a part of this community, and for being a part of, the Kingdon Nation, for being on Tumblr, for being on TikTok, for being on fucking Instagram, for being here. And thank you for coming to my little corner and spending time with me. It's amazing. I'm so happy you're here. Again, looking forward to more episodes. I would love to do episodes with listener involvement. I would love to do rewatch episodes where we all rewatch an episode. For those episodes, I plan on announcing in advance, like this week, Kingdon Radio Hour, because of the nature of the episodes and how short the Kingdon scenes can be. I'll be like, we're talking about episode like 4, 6, and 8 from season 1. We're gonna talk about those. Or we're talking about the break room scenes, or this. And I'd love to eventually have guests on, obviously. The way I record these, that's not hard to do, actually. I will definitely be doing some recording and reporting when it comes to season 3 information as it drops, because it was a circus for season 2, and I just don't think you guys understand how much more of a circus it's going to be. This show's a cultural moment. We're going to hear so much about season 3. And I would love to just going to continue being here. I definitely have some things coming on the pipeline when it comes to episodes. Again, would love to do episodes talking about fic. I'm so passionate about fan fiction as a writer of it and a reader of it. Lately, I've been way more of a reader than a writer, but again, some of you may know me from AO3. Who knows? And I would love to talk with my mutuals, my friends, and just, this community. I would love to do an episode where people write in and talk about why they love Kingdon and what made you fall for the ship, what your favorite things about them are, and lots of it can be anonymous if you want, but would love to do that too. I will see you guys soon. I will leave you with the fact that we see Frank Langdon in jeans next week, which is, wow. Thank you again for listening. If you made it to the end, I love you forever. Mwah, kisses. And thank you so much to Alysonafterdark for your involvement in this episode. Oh my god, can't believe I didn't thank her earlier. Go check her out, please. Go check out Alison on all her things. She's amazing. Love you guys. Bye.